geek agency. You just talked about WebOS, which you told it was a really good OS that didn't make it. So I asked, nowadays, how are they odds for a young entrepreneur, engineer like you, to get to be the new Apple? You know, to get success and make money from the engineering skills. And are there room for other OS or other hardware manufacturers in this market, mobile market? For tablets, both tablets and phones, of course.
Well, it's difficult to have only two real big operating systems for the smartphones that are going big. I mean, they're kind of like foreseeable for the future direction. I think there's room for more. They're always, you know, and more on the big mass scale too. Things that are products that are done right, that a user can pick up in their hand and use and know that it feels okay. I think even WebOS, although it failed, a lot of good technologies like Betamax failed. I don't know what all your questions were about. You're asking something to myself as an engineer. Well, I'm glad. I think that all people should be able, if you do something great, like if you want to give it away, like I did the Apple I computer. Give it away. And if you want to basically try to turn it into, you know, making money off of what you've done, turn it into money because you've done something great as an engineer. You didn't do it to get the money, but you spotted that it's worth something. It has value. Yeah, I'm all for that. You should be able to turn that into money. You're the ones that's creating the new industries, which are the new wealth of all the countries in the world. And, you know, not the people that are just sort of manipulating things and changing this pricing structure and that kind of stuff, but you keeping the technology the same. It's worth
the markets allowing it? You know, it's impossible today.
Yeah, the markets tend to close up. You get the big people that control the big parts of the market. Yeah, they do an awful lot to stop little guys from finding an edge in. But there's still a lot of big companies in the world that could spot the little guys. What was it? Google just bought Android. Just a guy walked in the door, had this little phone he developed, and he was credible enough, and they just bought that system. It was the most incredible acquisition they ever made, they say. So, yeah, you can't predict the future. Look how fast things are changing to this day. What kind of products and gadgets and new things are coming out. And who's going to say there's only going to be 2 smartphone operating systems in our lives 3 years from now? I'd never make a prediction like that.
Bom, a gente tem tempo para mais 2 perguntas só, tá?
Olá, Steve. Meu nome é Marino, da revista TAG de Bauru. Meu nome é Marino, da revista TAG de Bauru. Eu faço parte de um grupo de estudo de história. Nos últimos anos, nos últimos meses, a gente estudou a história do mundo, que foi mudada pela história dos computadores. E o senhor foi considerado assim, o início de uma terceira revolução industrial. E agora, a gente chegando numa conclusão mais próxima, do século XXI, seria o Mark Zuckerberg com o Facebook e o Twitter, o Google, o início da quarta revolução industrial. Porque muda toda a forma com a qual se lida com a história e a tecnologia do mundo. O senhor concorda com isso e o que o senhor acha disso?
The fourth big generation of the world, I'm not sure what you're referring to, probably the mobile. You know, the iPhone really was the key, the seed to that whole thing starting off. Yes, we had phones that could do internet, email, browsing, and other types of functions on the web, but we had nothing like your real internet computer in your hand until the formula was found the right way by some people not trying to copy what had been done before, but work on their own. So I think the iPhone really did trigger a new world, and it is going to be that much different. I think that voice and vision is going to be a lot of it. I even envision you'll be able to watch TV someday and say, change that red house to yellow, and it'll happen. Right on the fly, real time, because the speed of processors and speed of memory. So I'm glad to be in this world. I grew up thinking, why do I have technologies? Because I can change things. Why do I enter a science fair? I have an idea of a way to do something better. And technology just wants to see the new. And that's change, and somehow that's got to be leading us towards our heaven.
Juarez do Tecnoblog, nós gostaríamos de ouvir a sua opinião sobre o Windows Phone 7.
I haven't used Windows 7, and I don't like to give an opinion until I've used it. That's why I buy a lot of other brands' phones. I like what I read very much. I even like visually what I've seen on Windows 7 phones, but until I've used one myself, I will not comment. And it could be, I'll say, it's so great, just like WebOS. It's a beautiful, beautiful system, or I'll say, it's just a confusing piece of junk. I can't tell you that.
Ricardo, do Guarabara.info. Primeiro dizer que o senhor é uma fonte de inspiração para muitos de nós. E como o senhor projetou o Apple II, tenho a perguntar ao senhor se o senhor mudaria alguma coisa do projeto original.
I know all my reasons for creating projects back in those days. Every job I embarked on was an A+ effort, A+ result, including the Apple II. I thought back many a time, and over and over and over I came up with, I knew people suggested, maybe you could have done this one thing different, or this other thing different. One after another, I analyzed my own thinking, and it was exactly right for the time. Now, because I was a different person with a different background, I chose to write my basic software very, very fast. And I left out the floating point. I designed the floating point, and then I left that out just to get it done the soonest, so I'd be well known like Bill Gates for writing a basic. And when we actually produced the Apple II computer and sold it, I had floating point routines in the ROM, and I had my basic, but I hadn't incorporated them, and I regret that because it caused us to license Microsoft Basic. And in later years that hurt us because we depended on it for all of our income from the Apple II. And we had to renegotiate things, and Microsoft got a lot out of that. But that was an accident, and I know my reasons for believing in the integer basic instead.
A última pergunta. Oi, meu nome é Amanda, sou da Folha de São Paulo. Eu queria saber se você acha que em termos de inovação a Microsoft ainda é competitiva com a Apple.
Actually, any company in the world, large company, with a lot of carefully hired, some of the best of the thinkers in technology, can always be credible. And I mean, look, Microsoft has the Kinect. So, and you don't necessarily know in advance where these things are going to come from. They weren't predicting that the Wii was going to be as big a thing as compared to the Sony PlayStation when it came out. So I definitely don't write Microsoft off, and I think that after a period of time, the world is sort of favoring, for a lot of reasons, Apple more and more. We're growing, and Windows was kind of shrinking in popularity. I think out of that might encourage Microsoft to come back with some incredible results.
Eu queria agradecer a presença de todos e lembrar que às 7 horas o Wozniak faz a palestra no palco principal.